Okay, we're live. Hi, Masooma. How are you doing today?
I am great. How are you doing, Dalida?
I, I'm
Long
I'm
time no
actually
see.
yeah yeah. Actually, it's been since last week. We had an amazing topic last week about generational trauma. I got a lot of nice feedback about the topic, which is important, and this is the goal of each session. Do you have anything to share about last week's topic? Any insights you want to add?
Um, I think I became aware of like a new thing because like now I get to, when I talk about stuff, I become more aware of it, yeah. And then I
Yeah.
start to notice it in other people. So like now this time when I was around my family, I was listening to their language. And then I asked my parents some stories about, like about their lives. And so like I'm starting to put more puzzle pieces together for myself. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah.
When you are aware of the topic, you start seeing things you didn't notice before, and it's amazing how much growth happens once you start tapping onto a certain concept. You start
Hmm.
seeing how it shapes your mindset, your thoughts, and your behavior at the same time. Today, I'm actually very excited about the topic we picked, and it's been changing, like it changed a lot in my life, how we
Hmm.
talk to ourselves, the power of self talk. Years
Hmm.
ago, I read As the Man Thinks,
Hmm.
Think,
Hmm.
Think,
As a
Thinketh.
man, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Thinketh. It's always hard for me to say it. James
Yeah.
Allen, and he said, if you think you can and you think you can't, you're right.
Hmm.
And many times you read something or you see something and it doesn't hit you the way until you've passed through self experience and you connect the dots. Oh, that's what they mean. So if you think you
Hmm.
can and you think you can't, you're right. And it's
Yeah.
amazing how our thoughts and our talk shapes how we behave, how we act, how we identify all these experiences, and it transforms our behavior basically. What's your
Hmm.
experience with self talk?
So like I've also read that book as well as love yourself like your life depends on it. So like um I forgot the name of the author now. I should have I should have looked it up before we got on here. Anyway, so regarding self-talk, once I read that book, I started really paying attention to how I speak to myself, yeah. And I noticed like how negative my words were to myself, like they were so unkind. And then I decided to consciously create like consciously change this about myself. So every time I caught myself saying something negative to myself, like I suck or I'm not I'm not good enough or I'm not pretty, I'm not lovable, whatever, all those like deep, uh, deep thoughts about myself, I would literally say stop, and then I'm like I would think about like how I'm going to turn it around and shift it.
Yeah.
What did I want to say? Oh, so I noticed like the best time to realize like how you speak to yourself is when you make a mistake. So like that's my trick. Yeah, whenever I make a mistake, uh, I like really like pay attention to my self talk and wonder like how am I speaking to myself? Because that's when you're hardest on yourself, and
Yes.
it's an opportunity to change it then.
Yeah. That's, I totally agree. We are harsh on ourselves. We can give excuses to others, but what it comes to ourselves, we always beat ourselves up because of the mistakes we've done, of the experiences. But also, it shapes our daily identity, daily life. For example, I passed through this experience and it was amazing. For years, I've been trying to work out.
Hmm.
And every time there's excuse why I'm so tired to go to the gym, why I'm so tired to go to the gym. until I got my personal trainer certification. And
Mhm.
once I got the personal trainer certification and I'm now a personal trainer, suddenly I'm more
Mhm.
committed to go to the gym because I identify as a personal
Mhm.
trainer.
Yeah.
I don't know how this shift happened, but unconsciously I was modifying my habit because now I identify as someone who works out instead of something trying to commit to healthy lifestyle.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
how the wording changed, my behavior changed. How do you
Yeah.
relate to this experience?
Um, oh, of course I relate to this. So let's see. I have so many stories, and I'm like, which one do I want to tell?
It's, yeah, that's the power of self-awareness. When you are aware, every experience is a lesson learned.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Um, I started to think about it as if I was to talk to someone else like this, would I say these words? You know, it's like how I was able to change it. Yeah, like would you speak to your best friend like this? Would you say these words to your best friend? Would you say these to your daughter? I don't have a daughter, but if I did, you know, I wouldn't. I wouldn't say those words. Would people stick around if I spoke to them the way I was speaking to myself? And so like again, I started using this technique where I would tell myself, stop. We're not doing that anymore. We're going to change the way we speak to ourselves. But I didn't know how to speak to myself kindly because I had been negative for so long, you know?
Yeah.
Um, a lot of it is learned behavior, a lot like from your early childhood, not because like, your parents or your primary caregivers are so negative, but like your mind is always making a meaning. So like sometimes it comes from watching others and it's a learned behavior, but sometimes it's just the mind and the meaning it makes and you have well at that time you don't have any control over it. And then when you become conscious later on and you're like, okay, I need to change this, that's when you have to like put in the hard work to rewire your brain to go down a new path and not the old path, you know?
Yeah. No, it's funny. Um, I remember a quote from, I don't remember the exact quote because it's a long quote, but from the book Psycho Cybernetics, and it talks about mindset, and it says if your friend talked to you the way you talk to yourself,
Hmm.
or treated you the way you treat yourself, would you keep them as a friend? So
Hmm.
why you're allowing this?
Yeah.
So it's the same what you said, and many times it's the books are lessons, but also our life reflection is a lesson. Why would we allow the self-talk to shape our mindset and behaviors, and we talk to ourselves all the time? So
Hmm.
it's always our we have the biggest influence on our us already. People we surround ourselves with, they shape our behavior and what we think and what we do, but also what we say to ourselves make a big difference. When was the first time you realized that the self-talk you have? What was that changing point in your mindset?
Um, so I went through it wasn't, I don't know if I was calling it ugly divorce, but I was like, a painful divorce. I felt really ugly, okay? Even though I'm cute, you can see.
You are cute. Yeah.
I felt so ugly, I felt ugly with my body, with my face. I would get validation from everyone and anyone but myself, I was so hard
Yeah.
on myself. And so I think that once I realized the importance of self-talk, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna change this because like, okay, so the bigger reason why I wanted to do this is because people are always reflecting to you how you feel about yourself. You're the projector, and then what you see in the exterior is is someone else like showing you, right? So like if I don't change how I speak, how I feel about myself, uh, people are going to see me like the way I think of myself. Yeah. So if I feel ugly, that's what I'm going to project. And so I started telling myself that I'm beautiful. I would look in the mirror, and it was the most uncomfortable thing I have ever done. I I felt like uh, I felt like someone was torturing me. You know, it was so hard to look in the mirror. But like the training that I got, they said even though it's uncomfortable, keep doing it daily because that's how you replace it. So at first, like the first 3 days was really, really hard. And I was like, I can't do this. But then I got over it. And then when I started doing this repeatedly, and also like when you look at yourself in the eyes, like in the mirror, it's like they say that it's a window to the soul, right? Right. And so
Yeah.
like you're talking to your soul. So like you want to reprogram yourself, you start talking to the essence of who you are on the inside because you're not just this physical body. There's so much more to you, yeah. And so that was my first experience of uh, realizing, oh, I'm not ugly. I'm actually pretty or cute. So how can I change it? How can I stop seeing myself as ugly
Yeah.
and change it? Another word that I would always say is I suck. It's so I don't know like where it came from. But I notice like now, even now, sometimes I notice I'm like, oh, I suck. But like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
Anyway, that
It's
was my
it's
story.
it's interesting. It's something we are used to say. For example, if I did a mistake, oh, I'm so stupid.
Mhm,
We
mhm,
say
mhm.
it, we don't really mean I'm so stupid, but at the same time, it gives me a label unconsciously, and it
Yeah.
without me noticing how I behave in other situations.
Mhm,
And it's interesting what you said about people see you the way you see yourself.
mhm,
And you don't notice this, but actually I had this experience too. You reminded me of it. When I moved to US 6 years ago,
mhm,
I was successful in Lebanon. I was achieving a lot of things, but I moved to US and my mindset was I'm new here.
mhm,
I forget what experience I have, what education I have. I forget everything, and I considered myself as good
mhm,
as how much I have experience in US. So
mhm,
to a degree, I removed everything from my resume and
mhm.
started applying for entry level positions because in my mindset, this is what's only valuable.
Yeah.
This is what I told myself. And people started seeing this way. So I got
Mhm,
entry level positions,
mhm.
and then people started looking, no, you have qualifications, but I didn't believe it, so they couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
And this kept accumulating. So now if someone wanted to hire me, they hired me because they want to support me, especially as a coach and speaker. They
Mhm.
hire me because they want to support me, not because we want Dalida to bring us value.
Yeah.
Dalida's trying to start to build her business. Let us help her
Mhm,
because this is how I choose to see myself.
mhm.
So this is how people see me.
Yeah.
And instead of launching my business, let's say in 6 months or a year, it took me several years to overcome this mindset that no, I have value that people
Mhm.
need. I don't need people to help me increase my value. Just
Yeah.
just this shift, but I learned it way after. It's never too late, but I learned it late. I wasted a lot of time. And our spouses, our friends, everyone around us, they would see us the way we see ourselves, and we need to be cautious what picture we drawn.
Mhm.
That's amazing. One more thing that really irritates me. Is it your phone or my phone?
It's my phone. Sorry, I'm gonna put it on silent now.
Okay. One thing that really irritates me, it's when people start choosing labels and limiting themselves according to those labels.
Mhm.
For example, my daughter, she's 17 years old. When she hears me talking about her, don't use me as example.
Yeah.
but I always use her.
Mhm.
She says, "Oh, I forget easy, or I don't focus, or
Mhm.
I don't, I'm lazy," or whatever she chooses. She limits herself according to this behavior.
Mhm.
How do you see this works in your life or in the people around you?
Her using her those words, how it affects her life? Is that what you're asking?
How do you see like those labels or maybe other labels you see around you that affects what people how people behave, how it limits their potential?
Oh yes, of course. Let's see. How do I want to approach this? Um, is it okay if I tell you a story?
Of course.
Okay, so my son was in the fifth grade. My younger son was in the fifth grade, and he would come home every day, and he didn't want to go to school the next day because he said he was getting bullied. Okay,
Yeah.
and so um, I just, like as I was learning this stuff myself, because I was trying to fix myself, my broken self, I started asking him all the questions about, okay, tell me, like who bullies you? What do they say? And then I realized like he's kind of projecting, this way of being out and becoming a victim for these bullies to show up in his life and show him right. And so once I realized that, and knowing the tools that I have,
Yeah.
I actually started reprogramming him. By every night and every morning I would do this. Okay, so first I asked him who's his favorite superhero, and he's like Iron Man and Superman. And I said, okay, what qualities do you like about them? And he said, these are the qualities, like whatever words he used. And I was like, okay, and tell me how you feel about yourself. And he's like, he was hard on himself with his words. And I was like, okay, I was like, how about we create, his name is Sammy, but how about we create a Superman Sammy, or how about if we create an Iron Man Sammy? And so every night and every morning, we're going to do this together. Me and you're going to do this together. Mm. We're going to say, uh, I am intelligent, I am powerful, I am magnetic, whatever. I don't remember the words that he used at that time,
Yeah.
but every night I started doing this, and after 2 months, like I saw the biggest shift in this kid, and then like he goes to middle school, and then now he's like the most popular kid. Like now he's not, he's in high school now, but like in middle school he had a complete transformation just from the self-talk that I noticed. Like, he doesn't know that this is what I did with him, but I saw it before my eyes, like this kid that was getting bullied and crying and not wanting to go to school every day, like just from trickling in repeatedly positive self-talk and how to see himself. And I'm like, okay, how does Superman or Iron Man or Spider-Man um, behave? Like what are the qualities you like? Okay, so can you do that in your life? Like uh, he's like, I don't have any friends. And I was like, okay, well, friends don't just friends, you're supposed to meet friends. I was like, why don't you introduce yourself to a kid and say, hi, my name is Sammy, what's your name, or whatever. Just start a conversation. How else are you going to meet friends? Like no one's going to come to you because they feel the same way that you feel. And so he started doing that, and now he's the most popular kid. Like everywhere I go, people are telling me, like, your kid is so popular. And it's so funny, like he's done a great transformation. I don't know if I answered your question, but like that's my personal experience with how self-talk can really transform, and even like at such a young age, so if your viewers are parents, like try this, it's like, and then I taught this to my friends and they're like, oh my god, this is genius.
Yeah. Oh my God. You, in my culture, we always have this idea of, instead, for example, my daughter, instead of telling her you're so beautiful, I tell her, oh, you're ugly, in a joke, you
Oh,
know?
oh no.
So I don't know where this comes from, but it's like we're joking, like, no, not
Mhm,
beautiful. Oh, you're ugly.
mhm,
And I mean she's beautiful.
mhm,
But I didn't realize that this can cause. self image for her that
Mhm.
is based on ugly, because your brain doesn't know the difference between
Yes.
the reality or not. That's why
Mhm.
when you smell a certain sense, it takes you directly to that memory that
Mhm.
has a certain scent, and you feel as if it happened now.
Mhm.
So your brain, especially the unconscious mind, doesn't know the difference between what's true and what's
Mhm.
imagination, what's not
That's a
true.
joke. Yeah,
And it shapes your behavior. And we are controlled by our unconscious mind, not our conscious mind. And
exactly.
this brings me to the power of affirmations. My
Mhm.
experience with affirmations, which you really explained it perfectly with what you did with your son, but I always was critic about affirmations of, if I say I'm successful, now I become successful. That doesn't make sense.
Mhm.
That's so easy. Everyone will do it. Then everyone is rich. Everyone is successful. Everyone is the best version of what they want.
Mhm.
But it's it's not that easy, because as a human beings we are not committed to be consistent with this, and unless we truly believe and we are fully involved and engaged in the situation of when we're doing those affirmations, we it doesn't work. There should
Mhm.
be a full intentional and also belief. But my personality changed a lot with affirmations. I wasn't that confident. My
Mhm.
biggest fear was speaking in public. I always had this, what would people would say, what people would think about me. I'm not good, I have an accent. I would criticize myself. People don't criticize me this way.
Yeah.
I would criticize myself, and I shape my beliefs according to my self talk. And with affirmations, I was able to overcome that. Now people don't believe that I'm shy or I'm introvert. You don't look like it. You talk in public, you have a lot of friends. The
Mhm.
truth is, no, I'm introverted, but I worked on my affirmations, on my self talk, to tell myself, okay, now I want to act with confidence. Now
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
want to act uh, with intentionality to be a great speaker,
Mhm.
whatever I choose to pick at this moment.
Yeah.
So, and
May
just,
I, may I add to what you're
yeah,
saying?
yeah, please add.
So it's not just a matter of doing affirmations. I think your emotional body has to align with it. Yeah. So like, not just feel like not just on the surface say I'm successful or I'm this or I'm that, but like really like bring up the feeling of what does success feel like, you know? Because like it's not like our emotional body is what's projecting our beingness, our identity. Yeah. So
Yeah,
like, what does it feel like if you were to really like embody being a successful woman? What does a successful woman or a speaker do? You know, like how does she walk? How does she carry herself? What's her posture like? What's her language like? You know, like you have to feel it in order for you uh, to really like have that transformation, but also repetition. Yeah, because like
yeah,
anything that is new, like if you do affirmations for one day, you're not going to you know, get the rewards. Like I had to do this for months with my kid. I know I said I after 2 months I noticed a difference, but I still continued this for 6 months to a year. I don't remember the details now, but
yeah,
um, so repetition of the affirmations of what you want to become, like the future version of you, the most confident version of you. So that's number one. Number two, I wanted to mention one more thing. You can think of your words as spells, right? So like you're putting a spell out into the universe. So if you say I'm stupid or I can't do it or there's something wrong with me, that's what the universe, or you know, like that's what you're going to experience, because
yes,
that's what it's a spell, right? You're putting it out. It's like karma. It comes back and it comes back to you. So like what do you want to be true? What do you want to experience? How do you want to live, you know? How do you want to show up in life? Like those are the words that you want to keep affirming, and add the feeling of it. Like, what does it feel like to be beautiful? Like, oh, I feel feminine, like, what does it feel like to be feminine? Like, then I would watch feminine women, and I'm like, okay, what are they doing? Like, I wanted to teach myself, because I was mainly in my masculine. I grew up with all boys.
Yeah.
Um, so I was very like go-getter, like hard. And so I was like, oh, I want to like, what does a confident woman in her, like healthy, feminine, how does she show up in the world? Like, then I would start watching the women who were in their healthy feminine, and I'm like, oh, I want to be like that. Like,
Yeah.
wha- change the way you like take care of yourself, change the way you speak to yourself. Anyway, I think
Your
that.
mind starts attracting the things that
Mhm.
you are looking for. uh,
Yeah.
when you want something, it's always in front of you, but you don't see it unless you decide you want it. So when you want
Mhm.
to be more feminine, you start seeing signs that will uh, teach you how to do it, or
Yeah.
help you to apply it. And the same thing for successful, for a lot of things you want in life. When you put the intention and you identify as this person, it
Mhm.
it makes a big difference. The book of Atomic Habit, he
Mhm.
also talks about your habits starts with your mindset, what you tell yourself.
Exactly.
There's a difference between if you're smoking, and I don't know where I read this, but when you say I'm trying to quit, you're
Mhm.
more likely not to go back to the habit of smoking, because you identify that you are a smoker and you're trying to quit. On
Mhm.
the contrary, when you say, I'm not a smoker, when you identify you're not a smoker,
Mhm.
your brain will start rejecting the idea of smoking because you're
Mhm.
not a smoker. I know you're watching Mom, the
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, I
It,
am.
it talks about alcoholic people trying to, and they go to those AA sessions,
Uh-huh.
and it always, when they say, hey, I'm Bonnie, I'm alcoholic,
Mhm.
I always had it in my mind they shouldn't say this, because when
Yeah.
they say that means they are committed to being alcoholic, although they are
Mhm.
healing.
Mhm. Mhm.
So this is enforcing what they are trying to heal themselves.
I agree with you. That's exactly what I think of. When I see that, it bothers me because I know what I know now.
But But later in the show, I realized there is a reason for everything.
Mhm.
And they always need to remind themselves, because what I understood that it's a disease from the show. It
Mhm.
was a lot of learning. So it's a
Mhm.
disease. And reminding themselves that I'm alcoholic will make them intentionally away from alcohol. So in this case, I don't know if there is a psychological reason behind it. So
Mhm.
they should remind themselves of this week. Like, if I'm not alcoholic, I won't mind if I drank a small sip of alcohol. But
Yeah.
when I say no, I'm alcoholic, being next to alcohol can be dangerous for me.
Yeah.
It's like I'm diabetic. It's a disease. I can't say, okay, I'll try a little bit of sugar.
Mhm.
So maybe this is a way to keep reminding themselves of this disease that's going on, that they need to stay away from that. There is always reasons, but it triggered me a lot. Like, yeah, you shouldn't say you're enforcing that
Yeah.
you are alcoholic.
Okay, so I agree with you 100%, and that's how I thought of it. I was like, "Oh my God, why are you affirming that you're an alcoholic?" That's a bad way. And then like later on in the show, I don't know if they portrayed it or this is how my mind created a new meaning about it. I think that in order for us to change something, we have to admit that we have this problem, right? And so once you take responsibility by saying, "I am this," or "I did," like uh, once you excuse me.
Hi, new guest.
Mango
does,
wants to be on
does
camera.
she agree? Does she agree with us?
She's like, yeah, I like this topic. Okay, so like in order for you to change something, you have to admit that you have this problem. And so I think that just taking responsibility and saying, yeah, I am an alcoholic, just like taking that responsibility, you're taking your power back from this disease. And so like that's how I interpret it. So I like how we both were on it, but like this is our interpretation about it.
There is always an explanation
Mhm,
for certain things, but it's important the awareness of what we tell ourselves in on daily basis, and
mhm,
just analyzing, am I acting this way because it's just happened, or I'm identifying as this person or this identity. And I have a lot of self talk. For example, one of the self talks I have is, I have the belief that after I have lunch,
mhm,
I need a nap.
mhm,
So sometimes I give myself excuse to leave whatever I'm doing because my body needs this nap, or I need to sleep or 8 hours, or I'm grumpy in the morning. So I
mhm,
started forcing myself to sleep 8 hours so I won't be grumpy in the morning. But actually, when I debated this, I didn't need 8 hours.
mhm,
But this is the story I wanted to identify with.
mhm, mhm.
What I admitted two self talks that I should get rid of. What's your self talk that you should change right now? I'm listening. I'll be back.
Okay. Actually, I don't have a lot of negative self-talk right now, to be honest with you, because I'm actively working on creating the next best version of myself. So I'm like super on top of it. In fact, I feel like I have really positive self-talk, and I'm like, maybe I should get real with myself. You know, it's funny. Just recently, I've been going through this. Yeah. So I love that we're talking about about this topic. I did want to mention some science, if you're okay with it.
Yeah, of course, please.
Okay, so I did some research on this, yeah. Um, the average person has between 12,000 to 60,000 thoughts a day, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And 80% of those are negative. That's just the way our nature has been, okay? But more and more people are getting into self development, changing this. And so I think those numbers are changing, hopefully. And 95% of those negative thoughts are repetitive. So I'm going to challenge your audience to really like take a look at themselves, look in the mirror, look in, like get some self-awareness and see what are the repetitive thoughts you're having and what are the I am statements. Because like anything that you make, as an I am statement, that's an identity level. Like it's on an identity level, like you're really embracing this. So is it serving you? I'm going to ask you guys a lot of questions. What are you repeatedly telling yourself?
Okay.
And how is it affecting your mental, emotional health? How are you showing up in life as a result of your self talk? And is it time to change? So I just wanted to bring that up. And then one more science piece is there's a Japanese doctor by the name Masaru Emoto,
Mm-hmm.
Emoto. He did this experiment on water. Okay, he had his students have glasses of water and put positive messages on each of the glasses, and then like for example, I love you, you're the truth, you're divine, uh, you're beautiful. Okay, and then on the other side they had glasses with negative words on it. Okay, they would just write it on a piece of paper and put it on the water or under the water, and it would say, "I hate you. You're ugly. Uh, you suck." I don't know. I made that up. uh,
You're
and then,
stuck on you suck. Yeah.
that's probably something I would test. Yeah. So I think like a few days later, they came back and they took samples of each of the glasses of water, and they put it under a microscope, and they saw the difference between what the crystals look like for the positive terms and what the crystals look like under the negative. So the ones that had the positive terms had these beautiful geometric shapes, like very crystalline and very like structured, yeah, structured um, compounds. And
Yes.
then the ones that had like the negative words on them were like they looked darker. They looked like there's no shape or form. They were just like deformed, and it was really interesting, you know. And then like other people did the same experiment with rice. Okay, so they
Yeah.
put a jar of rice with, you know, with water, and then they put the word love on it, and then another jar of rice with the word hate on it, and they put it in a pantry, and then like 5 weeks later they took it out of the pantry and they brought it, and the water that had the rice that had uh, the word love on it was like this beautiful, fluffy white rice. It hadn't been transformed. And the one that had hate had the words hate on it, had like mold on it, for example. So, like, this is how powerful your words are, how you speak to
Yeah.
yourself, and like, because everything is energy, yeah. So
Yes.
what do those words have? What energy are you giving out? What energy are you bringing in to you with your self-talk, with the way you speak to yourself, with the words that you use for yourself, especially for yourself?
Yeah.
And how are
Even the
you?
plant. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Even plants, like if the plant you give her care and love and
Hmm.
talk to it in a music, they say it will blossom in a different way than if it was a plant that you always it's about hate and not caring. So it's a vibration, it's energy everywhere, but unfortunately
Hmm.
we don't this one. It's we're doing it to ourselves.
Hmm. Excuse me. Anyway, I think that's
Yeah.
about it. Oh,
Anything else?
yeah, I was
It's
just
interesting.
looking at my notes. I want to make sure that I.
Yeah, it's a lot of actions we do to ourselves. It's funny, even with attracting the positive things in your life, when you tell yourself that you deserve these things, it's not only about habits or beliefs, also the feeling of deserving, also deserving love, deserving success, deserving wealth, anything, deserving good health. When you believe that, okay, I'm healthy, and you tell yourself I'm healthy, you will be overcoming a lot of adversities in your life, about a lot of sicknesses in your life. The same
Mhm.
when I get sick of a cold, if I decide to lay down in bed all day and tell myself I'm sick, I will end up 2 or 3 days laying in bed with high fever. But when I fight
Mhm.
and I say no, I'm fine, I can go to work, suddenly I'm not sick anymore.
Yeah.
And the biggest proof is here in America, because I'm by myself.
Mhm. Mhm.
I resist the feeling that I want to be sick. And for 6 years in US, I didn't have to lay down in bed once. Even during for COVID, even during the vaccine, like there is some adverses when you take the vaccine,
Mhm.
I didn't
Mhm.
feel any sickness. Wherever, every time I go to Lebanon, visit my family, because I have family around, I have people that surround me, so I have an excuse to stay in bed all day. they will
Mhm.
they will take care of me. I don't have to go to the grocery store to get medicine or to get food.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
last winter, I laid in bed 10 days because I was sick. And okay, why don't I get sick in America? But it's big part of it, really, how much I resist getting sick. It's my mindset allowing me to fall
Mhm.
into this emotion or to this feeling.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, it's a lot of things. Right now, what I really like to highlight in every show is teenagers.
Mhm.
Teenagers have a lot of access to things me as a teenager I didn't see, I didn't
Mhm.
experience, especially with social media and comparison with other people.
Yeah.
And this is causing a lot of depression sometimes, a lot of
Mhm.
feeling that they are not as good as others. They are not deserving as others because this person is traveling every day. It's showing off a great life where I don't have this life. So it creates a self belief that maybe I'm not deserving or I'm not as good as this person or
Mhm.
any self talk they have, and it grows with them and it shapes their behavior, and sometimes it's leading to depression or leading to a lot of personal psychological issues. What would you, and you, I know you have teenagers, I have a teenager too,
Mhm.
what advice you would give to those people?
Everything starts with you, how you be, because like your behavior teaches them how to be. So if you don't work on yourself and you don't change your own self-talk and you're preaching, they're not going to take it. But if you are being what you say you are, if you're demonstrating every day by your beingness of, like the importance of self-talk and balance and mm, what's the word? Like showing up what you say you are, right? So like for example, if you're a personal trainer, like if I go to if I'm looking for a personal trainer, I'll never look for a personal trainer who's heavyweight or obese, right? Because they're not being what they want to teach. So same with parenting. Um, as a parent, if you want to teach something to your children, first you be it with every cell, every molecule, every atom in your beingness. You show up in that confident version of you, so that's what they learn because they don't learn from your words; they learn from your behavior. And then once you feel good and you see it in them, find a way to communicate with them and lift them up and change their self-talk, or like because like control doesn't work, they have too much they have access to too many things, and so like that's why you have to get a little more you have to be ahead of this yourself, right? And so what I do with my boys, I have an 18-year-old and now 16-year-old. My 16-year-old is very impressionable. He's all about the social media, looking cool, the the popular kid. And when I notice that he's not in a good place, like mentally, he'll actually come to me because I have given permission to my kids to come to me in those times, right? I have told them like, hey, when I'm out of line, like if I'm being unfair or whatever, you have to talk to me instead of like running away and going to your room and shutting out. I want you to push back on me. I give them permission because I want them to learn self empowerment. Yeah, so that so people won't walk all over them. Um, Even at me as the authority figure in their lives. I'm kind of teaching them how to balance when they want to be in their power and when they have to take direction. So I've already taught them like, okay, when I say something is non-negotiable, it's non-negotiable. But if I don't say it, that means there's room for negotiation, And so that's working for me. Hopefully that answers your question and gives insight to people who are watching.
Actually, I wasn't expecting this answer, but I love it. My goal from my question is giving advice to teenage kids,
Mhm.
but you made me realize that no matter how much they are influenced by social media, they are more influenced by us as their parents,
Mhm.
whether they voice it out or not. They are
Mhm.
influenced by how we act, how to we behave, and our our kids' image of themselves, before it's their responsibility, it's our responsibility, because how do we see ourselves will shape how do they see themselves.
Mhm.
uh, it's amazing, and I totally agree, because I know from my experience, the moment I decided to take charge of my life, take commit to achieve what I want, live into higher standards, tolerate less, more than I deserve, like
Mhm.
not tolerate what I don't see I deserve. My daughter's confidence in herself change, her reaction to herself change, because
Mhm.
I'm a living example in front of her, and
Yeah.
she's imitating. And although she doesn't acknowledge,
Yeah, of course she's not going to. That's okay.
but she sees what's possible. She sees that, okay, my
Yeah.
mom doesn't give up, my mom doesn't accept less than this, so she would work on the same wavelength,
Mhm.
if not more, because every kid will exceed their parents,
Mhm.
because their tools, their abilities, their resources are way more than what we have. Their age is way more. They are more flexible, so they can exceed the success we have. But I would add one thing as an advice to kids: don't compare yourself with people who don't like aren't comparable to you,
Yeah.
especially with social media. What you see isn't the reality, isn't
Mhm.
the true life, and you don't know behind this camera what people are trying to show. There is way more things they are trying to hide, and
Mhm.
it's not real, it's a cover. But you comparing yourself with these things is exhausting you. Is to no, believe what you want to believe, what you want to live. Tolerate always more than you think you deserve. It's
Yeah.
you will get there. Expand your horizon, because there's a lot of life and opportunities in front of you, and this is not only for kids, for everyone. It's never too late to believe in yourself, to change your life. And we know a lot of stories of people at 60s and 70s, they were able to do transformation.
Mhm.
Oh my God, memories come. 10 years ago in the
Mhm.
gym, I met this lady who was like by the corners doing splits. And for me, I always, I want to do splits. Like, it sounds so cool. But I had the belief that I'm too old. Like, this is
Mhm.
something, a habit you build when you are young, and
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
grows with you. So I approached this lady, like, how did you learn to do splits? She was like, couple of years ago, I just committed. She's maybe 65 at that time. And she was like, I started practicing like 2 years ago. And I was like, you can do splits at 60? Like, you can't start she said, yeah, your body will adjust
Mhm.
to what you ask it for. But you want to be persistent with your
Mhm.
self-talk, with your habits, with your actions, with your beliefs. You want to be persistent, and you
Mhm.
will achieve whatever you want. It's never too late.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
And I still try to be persistent to do splits, and I'm not persistent.
You're so funny.
I'm waiting till 60. I'll see what.
You'll get there. Just be persistent.
Yeah,
I want to add one more thing to the teenage thing.
yeah,
Teenagers are not very good at receiving advice at this age. So
yeah,
I don't know if giving them advice is like the best method. I think that what works well for me and what I'm learning is like uh, giving them. So like if you know that they're on social media, um, I would find videos of like what I want them to be like, and I would send that to my kid. So instead of like how they are, like if I find a perfect reframe of a video of a kid who's doing well, or who like who's authentic or whatever, however they are, then I share that video so that it comes from a peer and not from me.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense, but don't you be scared that it shows that, okay, my mom is not happy where I am. For example, let's say I see a kid who um, is consistent, for example, in working out, okay? And I send it to my daughter. There is a risk that she sees it like, okay, I'm not enough for my mom. She's not happy how I
Mm.
am. She's trying to force that this is a better fit as a kid for her than me.
I guess how you present it is the most important thing. So not compare them to someone that can be better, but more like, hey, what do you think of this? Like,
Show them
um,
what's possible.
you see what I'm, yeah. So
Yeah.
like how you present it is really important, and also praising what they're doing well in their life. So like my kid works out, right? I'm like, oh man, like you have a nice body, like he needs words of affirmations, like he needs validation, and so I think like learning our kids' love language. I think we're gonna have to do another session on this.
Session about, yeah, it's every
Yeah.
time I say, okay, this is the last question, something else opens up, and important to
Yeah.
share. I
So learning our kids' love language and speaking it, because like that's what they need. You want to get through to your kid, learn their love language and speak that.
Yeah.
There's 5 different love languages. We're not gonna cover it now.
Yes.
We're gonna come back and cover it, but learn your child's love language. Oh, by the way, the story I told you about my son, how like the affirmations. I figured his two top love languages was act of service and words of affirmation. And so, because I knew these were what's important to him and how he feels loved, that's exactly what I did for him to help lift him up and get his confidence, and so that he won't get bullied again.
Yeah.
Again, we're gonna talk about it in the future, but yeah, um, I think that instead of giving them advice, lifting them up with something that speaks to them, like figure out what's important for them and like speak their language. I guess it's NLP maybe.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's, you know, couple of months ago, I don't know what happened, and I told my daughter, I'm proud of you. And she
Mm.
was like, what's going on, mom? Like, she was surprised. I told her, I'm proud of you. And I'm proud of her every second of my life.
Mhm.
Every time I see her breathe, I'm proud of her because she's doing amazing stuff.
Yeah.
But her reaction made me realize I don't tell her that.
Mhm.
And then I realized I don't tell me that
Mhm.
about me. Like, I do a lot of things. I always, let's example, set a goal. And
Mhm.
when I achieve this goal, it will be old school. So I have higher goals. So I don't appreciate or I don't celebrate achieving level A because now I'm looking at level B. You
Mhm.
got what I mean?
Yeah.
So I end up burnt out. I end up not feeling accomplished, and it affects my self image, my self
Mhm.
doubt. Like, whatever I'm doing is not enough. Although I
Yeah.
achieved my goal, but during the growth to achieve this goal, my goal is higher now.
Mhm.
And I was talking this with you last a couple of months ago in a
Yep.
session,
Yeah.
and you were okay. What did you do those past 6 months? And I started sharing what I've done, and you were like,
Mhm.
you have to give yourself some grace. You're doing great.
Mhm.
But I chose the self-talk to keep putting myself down. And it
Mhm.
was killing my motivation and killing my belief that I can do better things.
Yeah.
And I realized it's not I'm doing it with my daughter, I'm doing it with myself. So we need to remember to
Mhm.
celebrate our wins, to recognize our achievements. And after we talk that talk every day before I sleep, I ask myself, what were 5 wins for today?
I love
E-
it.
Even if it was just me uh, eating healthy or going to a meeting on time. Sometimes I have to create some wins because I have to commit to 5.
Yeah.
So I create something, of course, not I lie, but something I see silly, but I
Yeah.
still acknowledge, because if you don't appreciate smaller wins, smaller achievement, you won't achieve, appreciate bigger ones. And I feel a lot of difference in my self-image, in my self-talk, in my motivation, in my daily life.
Mhm. It's interesting to me that you saw eating healthy as a minor, like that's such a major thing, you know?
That's that's the point, because we underestimate the things that we're
Yeah.
doing.
I think it's cultural conditioning perhaps. Because like we're especially as women in Middle Eastern culture, we're supposed to stay humble. I can't believe like on this live program of yours that I said, "Oh, I'm cute," you know? Like I would have never said this 10 years ago, 5 years ago, you know? And so I've noticed a big difference in my self-talk, and I'm like, "You know what? I'm going to be this. I'm going to be proud of, you know, the transformation, the evolution I've had." And it's so important because it teaches others it's okay to be proud of yourself. I think when I was 40 years old, I posted a picture of, I'm 44 now. I
We
posted,
don't say ages on this podcast.
you
this is this is
don't
not
have to say,
allowed.
I
Really
posted a happy birthday message to myself.
nice.
You know, like, and I'm like, I claimed my age or whatever, and I'm like, oh my god, you know. And then I noticed, like afterwards, I noticed a bunch of my friends were, you know, posting happy birthday posts to themselves because I was like, you know, I was on my journey of like self love and self evolution and stuff, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna own it. It's okay. You know what I mean? I think that's how we evolve. Like one person finds the courage to do it, and then, you know, it makes it okay for others to do it too.
And you can't give what you don't have. If you don't love yourself, it will reflect on how you act with people. And
Yeah,
it's important to love yourself before loving anyone else, because this is when you truly will be able to love them and
yeah.
give them and care for them. Um, I'm not opening. We're already 9 a.m. We're
Okay.
already like been speaking
Yeah,
for a
I
bit,
gotta go to work.
but it was amazing. Like I wanted to stop like 10 minutes ago, but I was just enjoying the topic
Yeah,
because it's
same.
very important. Any last thing you want to share?
Yes, I love your accent. Love it, love it, love it.
Thank you.
You
No,
mentioned
I
you're like my accent. I was like, what? You're like a Penelope Cruz or like a Salma Hayek. I was like, what? Why wouldn't you like your accent? And yeah, I remember the very first time that I met you a few 2 or 3 years ago. I was like, I want to be friends with her. I really liked you just from your accent. So don't hide it, okay?
You know, when I first moved here, I always had this self-awareness, oh, my accent, no, like, then I realized that it's an asset and it
Mhm,
opened a lot of opportunities. Even when I do phone calls, people listen. When I'm speaking right now,
mhm,
people
mhm.
listen because of my accent, then
Yeah.
they see the value I bring.
Mhm,
But the
mhm.
first impression, the accent apparently it's an asset that
Yeah.
I so I was trying to do a lot of trainings to get rid of the accent. Now, no, I stopped it.
Mhm.
I was like, no,
It's
let me
perfect. Don't change it.
embrace it. Yeah. I want to ask you something before we close. Since you said you're cute, I would like you to say like few affirmations for Masuma
No,
online.
don't do that. I don't want to do that. I'm not
Online.
vulnerable.
Someone said it's an online therapy session. So yeah, let's do it an online therapy.
Okay. Okay, let's see. What are my current affirmations? They're like more spiritual. Is that okay if I share?
Whatever you want to share, something
Okay.
that can inspire others.
Um, I'm a magnificent light. Um, I'm a bringer of kindness and love. I embody the frequency of love on all levels. I'm here to serve, and I'm proud to serve.
Nice.
And that's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank
Thank
you. So we'll meet again next week. That was amazing. That's great. A new
Oh, that
topic
was
we will
fun.
be
Thank
picking.
you.
If you have any topic you like us to discuss, please share on the comments when you watch this rerun of the live. And we'll see you next week. Thank you so much, Masuma. That was
Thank
amazing
you.
today. Thank
Bye.
you.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Thank you so